Which famous trial got the most viewers while the verdict was being read? Whose crying pictures from the courtroom flew over the world in 2010? Will the Nicole Smith case ever have a definite verdict? Keep watching to find out about the most controversial Hollywood trials in history. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was one of the main acting stars of the 2000s, with her face appearing in movies such as Mean Girls, Freaky Friday, or The Parent Trap. However, skyrocketing to fame at a very young age left some scars on her as Lohan got into drinking and taking illegal substances. She got arrested for driving under the influence in 2007, once in May for driving under the influence, and in July while also having illegal substances with her and driving with a suspended license. Lindsay pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 1 day in jail, 90 days in rehab, and 3 years of probation. In 2009, that probation got extended over a year as the actress failed to show up at the court-ordered classes that educated about the frequent usage of illegal substances. In May 2010, she was supposed to show up for a court DUI progress hearing, but due to attending a festival in Cannes and later a stolen passport, she was unable to arrive in time. The court hearing took place on June the 6th, where she was sentenced to 90 days in jail and 90 days in rehab. This court was televised online, so 2.3 million people tuned in and watched Lindsay Lohan burst immediately into tears after the sentencing. That summer, she served 14 days of those 90 that she was supposed to and then checked into rehab. Over the years, she got put on probation, into rehab, or on house arrest for multiple things, such as stealing a necklace or a car accident in 2012. In 2015, she completed her community service she got for the car accident, which made her probation-free for the first time after 8 years. O.J. Simpson. It's safe to say that the case of the NBA player O.J. Simpson is one of the most talked about and widely known cases in the public media. Surrounded by both mystery and concrete evidence, it still remains one of the most popular unsolved cases. On the evening of June 12, 1994, the lifeless bodies of Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman were found by their neighbors near the front gate. It was Nicole's constantly barking dog who came to them and led them to the scene. At the time the bodies were discovered, O.J. Simpson was on a plane from Los Angeles to Chicago. When his limousine driver came to pick him up at the scheduled time of 10:25 p.m, no one was answering the door, and O.J. only came out of his house at 11 p.m, which, according to people who think he's guilty, gave him plenty of time to commit the crime, come back and clean up, since he only lived a few minutes away from Nicole's residence. O.J. was questioned only briefly, and the day he was supposed to turn himself in, the 17th of June, he didn't show up to the police station. That day, America witnessed one of the most famous televised car chases in history. O.J. was on a run with his friend A.C. Cowlings, who was driving the car. Simpson got arrested when the car drove to his driveway. In the runaway car, police discovered a fake moustache, $8,750 in cash, a loaded weapon, and a goodbye note. From the note, it was clear that O.J. Simpson was going to end his own life. After this, an investigation of the crime began, with O.J. being the lead suspect. The first trial happened on January the 25th, 1995, and was cited by the media as the Super Bowl of trials. O.J. was painted to be a jealous ex who didn't want to see Nicole with someone else, as it was rumored that Nicole and Ronald were more than friends. To prove that he was capable of doing such a thing, a history of him turning violent towards Nicole when they were married got brought to the table. What's surprising about this case compared to any other unsolved cases is that this case has direct evidence, like leather gloves that have blood and DNA matching Nicole, Ron, and O.J. However, the gloves didn't fit O.J., which is when the famous line came from his lawyer saying, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." Trials would last all the way to October the 3rd, 1995. On this day, 150 million people watched as the jury would announce the final verdict of O.J. Simpson being found not guilty. However, O.J. Simpson did make it to jail, as in 2008 he was charged with armed robbery in Las Vegas. He was sentenced to 33 years in jail and got released after 9 years in 2017. Nicole Smith. Love can be born anywhere, as in 1993, Nicole Smith met J. Howard Marshall during her dancing gig in a club. A year later, the 26-year-old Nicole got married to the 89-year-old oil billionaire J. Howard Marshall. Many speculated if this marriage didn't have an ulterior money motive. However, their marriage didn't last long, as a year later, Marshall passed away with leaving Anna Nicole Smith's name out of the will. A court battle between Anna Nicole and Marshall's son Pierce erupted, as Anna had claimed that Marshall had promised her $300 million, while Pierce was saying that Anna only married his father because she wanted money. In the end, the court ruled out the verdict in Pierce's favor. However, Anna didn't give up and later filed for bankruptcy, saying that Pierce had interfered with her potential inheritance. And this is when the court ruled in her favor, as in the end, Anna Nicole got $474 million. Still, this was a tiny slice from the billion-dollar imperium that Marshall had owned. The case was never properly settled, as Pierce passed away in 2006 and Anna Nicole shortly after him in 2007. The case was still ongoing in 2017, with their estates and descendants arguing over the money. Many lawyers and judges ruled out of this case as one of those that will never be over. Woody Allen versus Mia Farrow. If we're talking about divorces, it's impossible not to mention one of the most talked about and shocking divorces in Hollywood from the 90s, aka the divorce of Woody Allen and Mia Farrow. Woody Allen was considered one of the best directors of that time, winning Academy Awards with movies Annie Hall and Hannah and Her Sisters. In 1980, he would meet and fall in love with the actress Mia Farrow. Together, they formed a family consisting of Mia's previous children and Woody and Mia's biological children. However, their relationship came to a drastic end in 1992, when Mia discovered explicit Polaroid pictures taken by Woody Allen of her 21-year-old adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn. The nightmare continued as Dylan Farrow came forward to claim that she had been touched inappropriately by Allen on August 4, 1992, at the age of 7. That day, the filmmaker visited the Farrow house located in Connecticut with little Dylan and 2 babysitters, and a French tutor. One of the babysitters, Allison, claimed she saw Woody with his head facing Dylan's lap, not in a way a father would. She elaborated, saying, "It just seemed very intimate. He seemed very comfortable." When Mia asked Dylan about what happened, she recalled that Daddy told her if she stayed very still, he would put her in his movie and take her to Paris. He touched her private part. Mia recorded this conversation on a tape as a piece of evidence, and all her friends recommended her to take the little girl to a pediatrician, who found no evidence of inappropriate touching on Dylan. As a response to all their problems and accusations being publicized, Woody Allen was widely criticized. The critique only grew when he decided to come out to the public with his relationship with Soon-Yi Previn. He decided to marry the girl in 1997. When asked about the relationship, Woody said, "I didn't find any moral dilemmas whatsoever. It wasn't like she was my daughter." Mia and Woody got wrapped up in a few custody battles for their children. While Allen kept claiming he is innocent, Mia kept describing his weird relationship with Dylan. Many painted Mia as a horrible mother who was constructing stories for Dylan to tell, as a way of revenge for Woody having a relationship with Soon-Yi. When the leading doctor of the investigation, Leventhal, interviewed Dylan 9 times, said her answers have rehearsed quality. He further explained, "We have 2 hypotheses. One, that these were statements that were made by an emotionally disturbed child and then became fixed in her mind. And the other hypothesis was that she was coached or influenced by her mother. We did not come to a firm conclusion. We think that it is probably a combination." In the end, it was Farrow who won custody of their children, and Woody was never charged. Both Mia and Woody came out of these completely broken people, with Mia resigning to only take care of her children. Woody's allegations became more famous than his movies, and he never reached the height of fame he had before, despite his movies winning multiple awards. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. The trial taking the social media by storm right now is quickly rising to become one of the most controversial in Hollywood history. With both such prominent figures like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, millions of people are tuning in weekly to watch the story unfold. The couple got married in 2015, and only a year later Amber filed for divorce and accused Johnny of getting physical with her, mostly when he was under the influence of substances. Amber got $7 million out of this. Their divorce was finalized in 2017, and a year later Amber wrote a post for Washington Post sharing her story of how violent a relationship can get, while never mentioning Johnny's name. However, that didn't stop Johnny from suing her for defamation over the article. 2020 brought phone recordings in which Amber admits hitting Johnny and gaslighting him into thinking she didn't. Depp then sued the Sun for calling him a wife beater, a fight that he lost. Ever since 2021, the two have been bringing more and more explicit details to every hearing. Experts say it's turning into a huge case of he said, she said, and that it will be up to judges who they believe. People are expecting things to get even uglier between the two. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.